Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we're exploring a staple that is literally in almost every single kitchen pantry. We are tracking the incredible, almost cinematic journey of sugar, taking it all the way from a towering green grass to those sparkling white crystals you stir into your morning coffee. So, how exactly does a towering, tough green grass actually become a perfect white crystal? It's an absolute engineering marvel. It takes massive, heavy machinery, incredibly precise chemistry, and a perfectly timed process. Let's see how it's made. Here is our blueprint for today's explainer. First, harvesting the sugarcane. Second, crushing and extraction. Third, purification and evaporation. Fourth, crystallization and centrifuging. And finally, number 5, drying, testing, and packaging. Let's move to and see how this builds. If you think about it, you can break this entire massive industrial journey down into 4 high-level phases: harvesting, extraction, refining, and packaging. Let's zoom right into phase 1. Step 1. Harvesting the sugarcane. Picture this. Out in these vast, sunlit fields, massive harvesting machines are efficiently cutting down the mature, juice-packed sugarcane. And from the second it's cut, it's literally a race against the clock. Those workers and machines have to transport the cane to the factory incredibly fast before the sugar inside starts to degrade. Which brings us to step 2, crushing and juice extraction. This is where we see some raw mechanical power. And this brilliantly illustrates how the factory prepares the cane. First, there's a vigorous wash to strip away any mud and field debris. Then, those stalks are chopped up into smaller, manageable pieces. And finally, they are crushed under absolutely immense pressure. Those heavy-duty steel rollers apply just a mind-boggling amount of pressure to squeeze out literally every single drop of liquid from the tough stalks. What emerges from this is a raw, muddy juice that holds all of that sweet, sweet potential. Moving right along to step 3, purification and evaporation. This is where the chemical engineering really shines. Obviously, we can't use that muddy liquid as is, so to clean it, the raw extraction is heated up and mixed with natural clarifying agents. This causes all the impurities to coagulate and sink to the bottom, which meticulously strips them away and leaves a clear, sweet liquid floating right on top. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast. Look at this. We go from that raw, muddy, messy juice straight out of the crushers on the left to a beautifully clean, pure, golden syrup on the right. But at this stage, it still holds way too much water. So we use evaporation. Scientifically speaking, this is the controlled thermal process of removing water from that clarified juice to create a thick, concentrated syrup. Without this critical step, the sugar crystals could absolutely never form. Inside these towering vacuum boilers, the water is vaporized at lower temperatures. They do it at lower temps specifically to prevent the sugar from burning. As the steam rises, that golden liquid rapidly thickens into a heavy, rich amber syrup. All right, step 4, crystallization and centrifuging. We are entering the microscale phase now. That thick amber syrup is carefully seeded with sugar dust. Through a really highly controlled boiling process, macro sugar crystals rapidly begin to grow and form right inside the dark, heavy, sticky molasses. So the crucial point is, how do we actually get the crystals out of that sticky molasses? The answer is centrifuging. This uses rapid spinning force to separate the solid sugar from the liquid. It's honestly just like your washing machine spin cycle, but on a massive, violent, industrial scale. A perforated metal basket spins at incredibly high speeds. The intense centrifugal force actually throws the dark liquid out through the tiny holes, while safely trapping those clean, raw sugar crystals inside. It's amazing to watch. Finally, we hit step 5, drying, testing, and packaging, perfecting the product. The freshly separated sugar is still a bit damp, so it passes through these massive rotating drum dryers. Hot air tumbles the crystals, drying them out completely. This is vital so they remain perfectly distinct and, don't clump up in your sugar bowl. And this factory is precise. Before anything leaves the line, the product undergoes a rigorous 100% quality test. Sensors are checking the size, the purity, the moisture levels. Literally, if it isn't completely perfect, it does not ship. No exceptions.
Once approved, the sparkling white sugar flows straight into automated packaging machinery. From small grocery bags you buy at the store to massive global transport totes, the crystals are efficiently weighed, boxed up, and ready to go.
The overall timeline here is incredibly satisfying. From towering green fields on day 1 to massive extraction mills on day 2, boiling and refining on day 3, and finally hitting the automated packaging line by day 4, it's a nonstop cycle. So, next time you're baking a batch of cookies or just stirring your morning coffee, will you appreciate the cinematic science inside every single crystal? It really puts that simple spoonful into a whole new perspective. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.